Hey everyone, it's Vagirinus here. I'm starting a new series, and it's going to be a little bit of my progression and improving my tactics, and a little bit about discussing why tactics is important, and a bit of problem solving too. So I made a new account on chess.com. I never had an account before on chess.com where it was a paid account, but I decided for this time that I really needed to improve my tactics so I can do better in tournaments. And tactics is a very key thing to work on in chess. It's something that um, you can actually, by doing a lot of hard work and studying, you can literally improve. And I think that for me, and for anyone who wants to improve better in chess, a consistent regiment of tactics is important. So I'm starting this new series, and I think why better not, what better way to talk to talk is walk to walk. So every day I'm going to do some tactics. It might be 15 minutes, it might be half an hour, and the goal will be to do it consistently every day, try and show some type of measure of improvement. Of course, might be some days might be inconsistent. I might do worse in tactics. Some might be better. For now, I just want to focus on getting it right rather than get it done right and quick. But over time, I'll keep challenging myself. And the overall goal I'm looking at is 2300, which I've never even done before. But a friend challenged me to get 2300 tactics, and so I'm gonna accept the challenge and see how long it'll take for me to get there. I think realistically, if I do tactics for a good, say, 30 days straight, or maybe even 60 days, I'm sure I can hit 2300. I'm pretty confident in that. But the key is to do one video, or I guess one day at a time. So um, this will be my accountability measure, but also have some fun and solve some tactics. So let's start. This is a new count, so we're going to start off at 400 rating. God only knows um, how you do these problems, but certain tactics I'll just solve automatically, and some that I think will give me a little bit of grief, I'll kind of explain my thought process and how do we figure out that tactic. Okay, well, it's pretty simple. There's a fork here. Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to take the bishop first. Okay, well, first tactic incorrect. It's already a good start. Oh, it allowed me to retry. Oh, that's good. So, bishop takes, and then queen to a4 forks the king and a knight. And now you can pick up the knight. Oh, so I'm not ready yet. So I guess for the first time, it gives me a certain amount of tactics, and then it decides which rating I am. Oh, that's interesting. I'm at 401. Okay. So king's in check. There's only one way to take it, and my bishop's protecting the queen, so I'm not really worried about that. So simple capture, 12 points, easy peasy. So if you see here, the king's so if you notice that the f pawn moves and the king hasn't castled yet, that's a good opportunity to try and go after that king. It's always good if you can check a king and make it move in the beginning. It's excellent because it puts the king in danger, and of course, king safety is the most important part of the game. And while I can put the king in danger temporarily, I'm also threatening the piece. So again, this is another fork. So queen h4, g3 to block, and then queen takes bishop. Again, I'm not really caring about time right now. I just want to get a perfect score. Okay, well, we have two free pieces. We have the knight, or we have a bishop. Oh, sorry, the bishop's protected by the queen. So in other words, the knight's the only piece that's free, so gotta take it. You always want to make sure before you take a piece, do a quick check of your king, making sure it's safe. Although the king is feeling a little bit of draft because of the bishop on a3 and the knight on d5, there is really no way to break him through yet. Even if there's an a4 push, the queen's still covering that square. So in that case, it's easy to take the knight. Okay, bishop b4. So immediately I already see a fork, and I don't see any other way my king can get exposed, so I'll play c3 immediately. Of course, bishop takes, and you take back, so now you're up 2 points, or in other words, a piece. 456. 458, we're making some headway. Oh, this is a nice tactic. So, sometimes it's a little scary if you haven't moved your e-pawn and your king's kind of stuck in the center. Because if you ever see a queen looking at a king like this, you have to be aware of these particular pins. So, knight e5, there's 2 choices to check. Oh! I clicked the right button. So, I clicked with the right mouse to kind of show the square that the 2 options of the knight, and instead it took me there. Okay, so I can't do that with tactics boards. I can do it with a normal board. If I right click, I can highlight a square. But okay, so damn, I got that wrong. But in all seriousness, the knight's supposed to go to d3. The reason why the knight can't work here because the knight can capture. But if the knight goes to d3, then king's pinned because the pawn can't capture because of the queen. So those are little tiny sneaky tactics. So again, I just got another one wrong, but I didn't do that intentionally. I did do it intentionally, just that was a mouse error. So again, just to show my point, that goes here. Okay. It looks like it's a free piece, so not really much to say here. Okay. Easiest 12 points ever to make. Oh. So, pretty scary situation. A rook is really good, but against a bishop and 4 pawns, past pawns, it's pretty scary. But you have a pawn on d7, so what's the fastest way to get a queen, which will stop this position? Just get rid of the defender. And not only do you get a queen, you get a queen with check. And therefore you can kind of cement the queen and prevent any of these pawns from moving. So, wins it by itself. This is a nice pattern. So whenever you see a king with this type of setup with 3 pawns, look at these dark squares as potential weaknesses, especially if you have a powerful knight on d5. In this case, you might be tempted to take the rook first because it's kind of it's a nice piece. You take the knight, and queen captures back, but really the best move is f6. And now when the king goes, now the rook's free too. You can capture it with the king or the queen or the knight. Personally, I'd rather just take it with the queen. Oh, and it says it's incorrect. Why is that? Oh, I guess it wants you to capture with a knight because then you break through on f7. Oh, so I actually did that wrong. That's good to see. That's a good learning from me. Yeah, because after this, the pawn is going to be captured no matter what. Even if the queen defends on, say, f8, you can still take the pawn and then still gain material. So I was definitely wrong. That's good. It's good to refresh some certain tactics. Okay, so a little bit of a pawn scary push, but if you see here, this dark bishop's really powerful. And there's a vulnerable piece. But your king's not in danger. So if your king's not in danger, you always want to take that free material. So 10 points. Oh. So very simple. Rook wants to grab a piece, being greedy, but unfortunately has left himself vulnerable to a checkmate. So when I play chess, I always look for 3 different type of threats. When it's my threats to me, I always look at threats to my king, threats to my pieces, and threat to my position. If my king's not in danger, then I look at my pieces. If my pieces are not in danger, then I look at the position, and then I prioritize. And then when I look at my opponent, I look at the threats I have on their king, their pieces, and their position. And if there's a threat to the king, then I choose that as priority. But if my king's threatened, then I have to choose mine, or decide which threat is faster, more important. So it looks like my queen was captured. But even though this rook is very tempting, see, the thing is I want to look for threats to the king first. And if I imagine my knight here, well, it looks like the king can't go anywhere, so that's the checkmate. Now, I would recommend as a beginner, always ask yourself what are the three threats, because if you ask yourself that question, it helps you organize your mind to make better decisions. And I think that's a really important part of chess, is being able to make the right decision. And it doesn't matter what level you are. You can always improve in decision making and thought process. In this case, the knight got really greedy, but unfortunately, it's in front of its king, so we can take that opportunity to pin. Excuse me, bless me. So, normally I wouldn't be able to take the knight because of the back row mate, but the king is going to be in check, so that check allows us to take the free piece and then get away from checkmate. All right, we're making progression. Okay, so bishop's on g4. Oh, so you might be thinking, I can just take this queen, or I can take this bishop, and then after exchange, we're relatively equal. Well, except for this pass pawn, it's kind of scary. But there's a nice tactic to get the queen. You can play bishop to h2, forces the king to move away from the queen, and now you can take it. And I'm pretty sure you can still stop this. Yeah, if you play pawn pushes, queen to f7, and yeah, stops the pawn dead in its tracks, and which is good. But that's a little more advanced thinking right there. Ooh, I love these type of mates. King can't go anywhere. Kind of same like the similar one that we did with the pin, except this time the knight just goes in the square that king can't move away from. Oh, this is a very simple mate. Okay, I'm going to try and get to 1,000 real quick, because these are relatively simple. Oh, king's check. Good job, Matt. Okay, that's good. So the reason why I hesitated is because my focus wasn't aimed at this particular rook. And that's why I really want to improve on tactics, because with improved tactics, you'll be able to see this instantly without really thinking. And I like to use the reference from Dragon Ball Super. If any of you watch Dragon Ball Super, um, the term Ultra Instinct, where the Goku, when he first takes his form of Ultra Instinct, he moves on his own. His body can move, just being able to attack and defend at the same time. It's kind of sort of like chess, where you want to be able to have tactics so well fine-tuned that it's secondary. You don't even think it. You just see the board and make the instant connections. And I think that makes it easier to be more efficient with tactics, and number two, um, just that way you can save your energy instead of calculating tactics and focus it more on certain areas of chess, like uh, certain area in chess, such as like positional thinking, looking into the future, and then trusting your tactics that you'll pick up something in case something arrives, like an opportunity. Okay, we're 636. We're making our way there, slowly but surely. That looks right. Okay. Again, these are all really simple. Again, I can take the rook because the queen is pinned. Oh, this is a nice one. So this is the first lesson of like opposition. So what happens? It stopped here, but if we can go further, king goes to f2, black goes to e4, and white goes to e2. Now you would think that white has the opposition, but the thing is, black has a free move, and the free moves are really important. And after playing f5, the white king has to concede either the f3 square or the d3 square, and in that case, the black king using opposition can break its way through. So, a nice little principle, although it's since the tactic's relatively low, you won't get to that part till maybe later on when we do more advanced tactics. I would say around the 1500 plus realm. Okay, good. Forget the queen if you can make the king. And then queen to mate in, I don't know, about 3. Should always remember. So if you ever see a configuration and you have 3 pieces and you can gain up on a G pawn, something similar to this, feel free to sack that rook. It is winning. These are some nice tactics, though. That's really a 486 tactic. I think it's a little bit higher than that. So again, same principle, rook sack. And this one looks, it's a little more simple. You'll see this pattern in Sicilian sometimes where the pawn on d6 is really weird. So white played queenside to get some more aggression. It turns out to be worth it because now white breaks through, and it's a pretty simple convert. Like, yeah, there's a lot of pieces on the board, but rook has momentum and it's infiltrating black's queenside, and or sorry, right through the center. So after coordinating your rooks and getting your knights on, like, say, c5 or f5, the game will win itself. Oh, that's a nice move. How do we beat it? Oh, there's a nice little tactic. Now you can pick up the knight. Okay, so I'm black to play. So I want to push the pawn up. So if we do a simple calculation, b3, king to a d3, pawn b2, and the king can't infiltrate because of the king on c2. So we check the king first. Now, can the knight stop it? And that's a good question. So knight just moved to a7. You go to b3. Let's say the knight goes to b. Oh, knight can't even infiltrate here. Oh, in that case, the knight can't stop the pawn. So the correct move is b3, and then you could take the knight. Does it really matter? Probably not. Oh yeah, if you do take the knight, then the king does infiltrate by going to d3 and then c2 when the pawn moves. So in this case, yeah. Oh, the king's in check, so I guess you have to take. Forget everything I just said. Let's just go to the next tactic. So king takes, check. King goes back. I don't think so. So, oh, this is a nice trick. So if the rook can't get escaped. There's no way for it to escape, but the queen's being attacked. So in order to deflect the position, set up a trade, and now the rook can't escape. That's a bit harder. Yeah, I was thinking it was much higher than 1,000. I would say. Okay, I think we'll stop at 1,000 for today. Classic fork. Always nice to get one of those going. Okay, so they're threatening mate pretty much. But we're also threatening mate too. And then after king takes, queen infiltrates, and then it's pretty much game over. So this is one of those classic move your bishop and try and pick a piece out of it. Again, pretty simple. Again, same concept as the last tactic. Moving a piece to get a check and to discover to get a free piece. Again, this is another simple tactic too, where your queen can infiltrate into a king side. Again, another simple tactic, picking up a free piece, or two pieces. So there's two ways we can do this. We can put the bishop here, or we can take the pawn. If we put the bishop here, and any type of defense, you're still going to get a piece. So correct move is d5, and then yep, you pick up a free piece. Or instead of a free piece, it could have been a rook exchange for a bishop, but I think that's a bit better than giving up a clean free piece, personally. Oh, this one's a good one. So bishop takes, and now you can take the rook because oh no, you can't. Oh, let me do this right. Oh, because it's checkmate. Yeah, I could have taken a rook, but you can also checkmate right away because the king can't move on g3 or g4 or g5. So, see, I screwed up on the tactic, and that's another thing too is sometimes I'll have a tendency to calculate without looking at all the possibilities, and I'll make a move. And I think that fundamental principle happens to many of us. And there's a recent tournament I've played, and I'm gonna. It was 7 rounds of chess, in this tournament I've played in, and I'm gonna talk about all 7 games. I'm gonna kind of show my thought process and the wins and losses. And one of the losses I've had was because I miscalculated. I didn't miscalculate. I just didn't look at a possibility, which was a tactic, and then when I moved immediately, I saw the tactic and my opponent played it, and I lost immediately. A lot of immediatelys, but it was a good lesson because it was pretty much a draw-in game. I was a bit better in position. He was winning immediately. So we do make those mistakes, and that's why I want to do these tactics and take it serious to get better slowly but surely. Okay, 9. So we got pawn move. We're looking for a mate here, obviously. I think that's mate. Pawn push. Yeah, for 793, it can't be a 793 tactic. That's not exactly easy to look for. Okay, we're almost there. Oh. So, then you get the queen. Oh, this is a nice one. There we go. The reason why rook couldn't take is if the pawn takes the rook, the queen is played on g7, and it's actually a mate. So, very nice sneaky tactic. And this one was the highest one, 1334. So, pretty good. Okay, we're almost there. So already I see the bishop's in a corner, and sometimes you gotta be careful. It may look like a good idea to play b3 to kind of break up this chain and make the d3 pawn isolated, but the problem is that you trap your bishop, and it's not worth it at the end. So, yep, free piece. Okay, so this is one of those intermezzo moves where you can just pick up a free piece back, but you can also capture something in the meantime. So now you're up a piece. All right, let's go for gold. Oh, so queen's being threatened, your bishop's being threatened, so your first impulse might be to play queen d1 to protect your bishop. But if you notice the king very vulnerable, you want to do is check and see if there's a way to mate, and there is a way to mate. Okay, so we're at 1,000. Probably took a good about 15 minutes to get that done. I guess we'll stop for today, and tomorrow we'll try and achieve another rating point. I would say we'll probably go for. I think I like to go for 1,500. Let's get right to the stronger, more interesting tactics and really start that progression. But thanks for watching. If you enjoy me doing these tactics, and as again, you're going to see them every single day, feel free to subscribe, give a like. I did pay an account in order to do unlimited tactics. I never done that before. I've always played chess for free, especially on chess.com. I would just play 5 tactics a day for years, and that's about it. But I'm really serious about oh, there's my phone. I'm really serious about improving my tactics and showcasing to everyone why tactics training is really important and how having a consistent regimen can really change your progression. So I think that doing this is going to be a good start, and then I can look at it, and you can look at it months or years from now, and see how I got to the level I want to be. So first goal, get to 2,300, beat my friend in a bet, and then maybe there I might want to try 2,500, which I know it's tough, but if you can get to 2,300, you can get to 2,500. I don't think there's any doubt. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Have a good night.